can't. Maybe the aliens. You're right.
What?
The prostitute story.
I'm talking
You
about
ready?
ass. What are you talking about?
Prostitute story. You guys ready? Are you ready for this? Bondage? I'm in.
I should be able to hire my own tweaker to beat up another tweaker.
Gets high fives from the boys.
It's the stupidest thing I ever heard of.
Good
Hey,
morning
hey.
with the boys.
Good morning. How we doing, everybody?
Shout out City Brew as always. The lovely baristas were there. There 4 of them there today.
4 baristas.
Because they know we're coming in the mornings.
It's
They know we
actually-
want to be quick.
They must have brought in the extra baristas because they were like, this podcast is getting some traction.
20 subscribers
They
now.
seen the line of cars that was there yesterday?
And then today, nothing. We had enough time to just chill in the parking lot.
They probably were like, these guys are here a little early.
Maybe.
This is probably the earliest.
This is
even-
definitely, probably the earliest we've been live, 9 a.m.
Yeah, 9 a.m. I mean,
Heck yeah.
rolling back. Uh-oh. DJ is seeing a creature. Ready to smash it.
Dude, it's so nice having...
You help my lighting?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so nice having a DJ to be able to do that. He's like, oh, look, the lighting's not great.
Hold on, let me just check.
I did notice the other day we were getting quite a bit of light from that one, and my face was a little shiny, but that's fine. Rather more light than less light, you know? Let there be light.
And you see Bamski's studio. He's got like those ring lights. That seems like it would be almost so distracting.
Yeah.
Having that bright ass light in your face.
Well, and then like I do like some videos where people, you'll see the ring light in their eyes because it's like right behind their camera, and that actually kind of does look cool. It adds another unique design to the eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think same thing. EJ has one. He said the same thing. He's like, dude, I have to turn it down because you turn this thing on, it's right in your face because it's right behind your camera.
I guess I can podcast with sunglasses on. Give you a reason to.
That's funny. It's how I met my buddy from New Zealand. I was streaming with sunglasses, and then like the next day he found me, and then a week later I stopped wearing the sunglasses. He's like, I didn't even recognize you without the sunglasses, man. That's the only reason I found your stream the last couple times. So.
And we tell shout out. You got a couple more subscribers.
Yeah, dude. I'm pretty impressed. My gaming YouTube channel is a few years old, and we have 90 subscribers on that. And we have been doing this consistently 2 weeks. We've had the YouTube channel a month, and we're at 20 subscribers already. That's pretty impressive.
You guys keep plugging away at it. We love everybody showing up.
Yes, thanks.
And if
Thanks
you guys have
everybody.
the opportunity, hop into that chat. Get nasty in there. We had Happy in there earlier this week, and that made for a good time in there.
Yeah,
I like to see you guys interacting with us a little bit more. You know what I mean? Just know that you guys are out there listening.
And then we'll, of course, if we're in the middle of a conversation, we'll miss a chat for a few minutes, but we got it displayed in front of us, so eventually we'll see them. And
100%, we're getting there.
yeah, and then I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to rough any feathers or anything like that. But I'm nervous. I'm really nervous for this after. I think that's why I was sweating so much last night in my sleep.
Oh, that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
Because I'm going crazy, guys. I'm gonna keep it light, but I have a meeting with Jeremy at 96.3 The Zone. I've been saying that all morning too.
So you've been really just getting it down?
Maybe they want me to do that. 96.3 The Zone.
Do you think they want to buy you in specific to be slogan, man?
Yeah. Like, hey, we want you to just say 3 words. 96.3 The Zone's way more than 3 words.
It up. You're like, get in the zone. Damn it, that's AutoZone.
Yeah. Shit. Get in the zone. 96.3 The Zone.
Oh,
They're like,
no.
that is not what we wanted. We wanted to mean The Zone.
I can't. I feel so bad for whoever was listening. I just heard that high pitched.
Well, have you heard their commercials? There's some of their like for 96.3.
They spoof
have
commercials,
some,
right?
yeah, they're spoof commercials. Yeah, some of them are so funny.
I'm sure. I was like,
I would love to be the guy recording those because I've even wanted to clip one and put it in my stream because they're so funny.
that would be funny to. Well, I guess not funny, but to see the analytics on that, what the breakdown of viewers are radio wise across. Like how many people are tuning into like the 101.9s and the 105.1s and 96.3s.
Like sorry Bamskis, I apologize, but my car is always set to 96.3 and it's not. I will say I do listen to a little bit of music on my phone, but if I'm not feeling the phone, it's always 96.3.
I was gonna say at the end of the day, I mean, you're gonna be for certain people. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
Not for other people.
That's every radio station. But yeah, I have a meeting.
Well, that's just the nature of life. You're never gonna be perfect for everybody.
For everybody,
so
right?
Sooner,
yeah, look at my
it
marriage. You know, we weren't great together, but we're great friends. So,
bam.
boom.
At the end of the day, what more can you ask out of your child's mom?
Yeah, but we'll just leave it at that.
That
but
was a solid 10 of a dismount.
Yeah, I got a meeting with Jeremy at 96.3. We have no idea what it's for. I'm still going into it thinking
go into that text.
Huh?
He just
No,
gets a text yesterday that just says, "Want a meeting?"
Yeah, want to run something by you.
If you were any person in that situation, like, how are you not supposed to just flip out and be
and he wanted to wait 5 days.
He wanted to wait. It somebody?
Yeah. I want to talk to you about something. I'll meet you next week. Like, oh man, I'm going crazy.
Like, hey, I'm free now.
I'm still going into it thinking we're getting a cease and desist letter. So anything above that is good.
Hey, either way. Good press is good. Any press, bad press, yeah. It's all good press.
If we get a cease and desist letter, we posting that bad boy, dude. We posting that bad boy.
Obviously, they're worried.
Well,
they want us to,
What if it's the opposite of a cease and desist? What is the opposite of a cease and desist? If they wanted us to talk about them more, if they're mad that we're talking too much about Bamskis and not enough about them, what do they call that? Not a cease and desist, but a continue and... something.
It's called the continue and keep going. Yes. I believe that's the actual legal term.
Yeah, we gotta continue and keep going in that letter.
That's definitely a real thing.
But yeah, like I said, I don't want to go too much into it because we've literally spent all day yesterday being like, what could it be? What could it be? And I gotta stop with that. It's driving me crazy.
100%. Well, I mean, I sat the same way. I talked to Bryce for like an hour after you were gone. I'm like, all right, man, we just gotta start preparing for the worst.
He might be gone.
He might lose my co-host because he gets famous before we do. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna need you to go on camera, DJ. Oh, DJ, you don't want to do the podcast anymore either? Well, this is unfortunate.
No, I would tell him I'm having too much fun with this podcast. Like that would be if they offered me a job, that would be a stipulation. Be like, I'm still doing my podcast. This thing's taken off faster than any YouTube or Twitch or any platform that I've been a part of. This is taking off faster than anything. Even my Facebook, which was my best streaming platform.
Well, that's because I'm like slow. A bottle rocket. I go up hard and pop in about 2 seconds.
That's why I told you look... The look from DJ made me actually listen to what you said and registered in my head, and it would have gone right over my head if DJ didn't give me the look of what the fuck did he just say? Clip it.
It works out so great when I have somebody to look at while I'm telling jokes, because then you can just see their face like, what? No.
And you can assume that his reaction is what the viewers are doing. So we're looking towards the camera, getting that reaction. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, show me any type of comedy that you can do, like no crowd, nothing, and you show me the funny. You need a crowd. You need something to feed off of.
And I think DJ is one of our biggest assets, and people might not think this, but me and EJ have talked about doing a podcast forever. But that's what we didn't have, is we didn't have a third guy to look stuff up for us. So we would have been the ones. Hold on, let me look something up here.
I would say you guys would, staying on topic for you two, I'm sure would be quite another task.
Yeah, because we are all over the place, man.
Like crazy plus crazy.
Well,
welcome to the tinfoil corner.
Just like us, we would refine it and get it down. Because even just with us, the last 5 episodes, we've been better about keeping our conversations on topic and not getting too far gone.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah.
It's the same thing me and him would have got. We would have got better.
I don't know, man. That's a whole lot of crazy.
It would have definitely been conspiracy corner all day, every day.
That's the one thing I think about. I was like, man, I don't know if that's good or bad for the world.
Well, and then
what's worse, that or inundated with the fear from the news?
See when
it's just conspiracy. You don't even know if it's true or not true, and then you really start to freak people out.
Well, and then you've already kind of showed me a little bit of that today. I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm so worried about this Kamala Harris thing, and you're just like, why? And I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. I am just getting myself all bent out of shape for no reason over it.
Granted,
Really.
I mean, you make a very strong point when you're saying that she's standing on the same communist banner.
That's weird. Like I said, that was just a video that popped up, and I haven't even looked up to see if that is her exact slogan. But if her slogan is in fact "We are not going back," that is what the Communist Party displays on their banners behind their podiums. From the video I watched. I don't even know if that's true. I haven't fact checked any of that.
People that she has in her cabinet, most of them being very highly liberal, it doesn't seem like when it comes to history, they're like really in their history books.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And they're like, we're not going back to Trump. Yeah, that's a great slogan. Like, no, that's what the Communist Party has been saying for 10 years.
And then she definitely seems to be one of these people that she says it and then stands on it, even if it's a complete lie.
Well, I think she said it, and I think the whole crowd started cheering. Like, that's what
Well, how many
that's what
puppets
scares
do you have?
me.
I was gonna say, how many puppets do you have in that crowd?
Right. How many people
And
did you hire to go cheer them? Yeah.
I remember when Trump was running his, remember what was that meeting or whatever he had, and they were showing the numbers, and they were like, oh man, Trump had so many people, and they're comparing it to Obama. And then they zoomed out and they were like, Trump hadn't have anybody here.
It's just all the camera angle, really.
Literally. And you look at how much of that happens, or even like when they came out, Trump's what is her name, like the press secretary.
Yeah, I don't know what her name was, but
I can't remember. But same thing, the media tried to come at her, and then she was just like, well, what about you, CNN? You said this. What about you, NBC? You said this. Are you guys going to stand on that? And I love, and in that regard, I was like, it's really cool to have somebody
call them out. Yeah, dude.
It never happens really with the media. I mean, it's really allowed to. Well, that's something that this nation is founded on. You know, the freedom of speech to say whatever you want to, whenever you want to, regardless.
Why the X thing was crazy when they verified in the Twitter files that they were suppressing COVID information from doctors and saying it was false information when it was in fact not false information. That's so fucked.
And
guess
on
what?
top of it, how is
they're doing that in every other platform? X just got caught.
Well, the crazy part is like, how does like all of this information come out about Fauci, and then there's no charges or nothing brought against the guy?
Nothing.
Like, that's
not
the wild part. And then his
it.
books, where the experiments that he was doing while he was testing on people, and I'm like, none of this. He can't be tried. These seems like war crimes, like something like Nuremberg. Like you have to go.
Yeah, if that was someone else in another country, we'd be freaking SEAL Team 6 in them so fucking fast.
Oh, 100%. And then on top of it, seriously, people, like if there's probably more time, it's probably more critical time now than ever. Really start looking into what your food is. It is absolutely insane which stuff is allowed to go into America's food versus the rest of the world.
Did you know
they actually have to use real fruits and vegetables and everything when they're additives, and ours is dyes?
Guess what? Fruit Loops are made in the United States. They also make the Canadian version, that is the healthy version, that gets shipped out to Canada or other countries. So they're already making it here in the States, but they are deciding to sell us the one that's trash.
They're allowed to do it. It's not even so much that they're allowed to do it because of the laws.
Yeah, because we don't have
that makes the red 40s and all these other dyes illegal. Even though the rest of the world obviously has said, no, we're not using this. But for some reason, America has no problem being like, just stuff all the chemicals in us.
So I saw this. Though of course, AI would tell me it's not. Cellulose is a safe and inexpensive carbohydrate that comprises the woody parts of cell walls of plants in the type of dietary fiber. Sawdust. Cellulose, if you see cellulose on your shit, it's basically sawdust.
Well, I actually learned about this quite a while ago. They were testing the cereals, and they said that the cereals were more sawdust than actual cereal. But when
Which
you
is
break
fiber.
down-
They say it's
and
fiber.
I'm sure, I was gonna say, I'm sure somebody who's in the science community would probably take offense to like the way it's been broken down so simply. I'm sure cellulose gets used in another way besides just.
Yeah, it's not sawdust that's been ground down and put into your shit.
Sure
But
who
who
wrote
knows?
or anybody reading it, you know what I mean? They read the word sawdust in there, and I guarantee you, everybody's up in arms.
Well, that's
Even though
they
you
call
ever
it
been
cellulose so
I
that
was
you
like,
don't
you ever
read it.
been on a construction site? I eat sawdust all day working out there.
Dude, we come home from painting and my boogers are the whatever color of paint we painted that day.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all, we're inhaling and taking all these chemicals in anyways.
I was gonna say, if you're one of the fortunate ones who, I guess, goes down the white collar path and you get the luxury of being in your office,
shit, yeah, maybe
you're
if
not exposed to everything, I suppose then it's one thing. But some of us who are down here just in the blue collar world, most of the guys I know, they don't think twice about what they're sticking in their face. They're hungry, they fill their stomach, and then they get back to doing what they need to do.
Yeah. Well, dude, my daughter's got a really sensitive stomach, and I thought it was due to all this terrible stuff in the food that we were feeding her, but I think it was that water. I saw on the news that we had some shit in our local water at our local like swimming pools that was causing kids to get sick. Like a bacteria in the water, yeah.
And that's the one I actually
so I think
talked to DJ about this. I was like, how come we can't do like an outdoor shower system for like the homeless people? You know, if we can just at least give them the ability to take a shower outside. But he's like, well, that's good in theory and everything, but what are you going to do with that wastewater? You can't recirculate that water back into it because it's filled with whatever diseases and everything are on those humans' bodies. So I feel like even that comes a little bit with these open spray parks. You have kids who probably might not have showered or washed in 3-4 days. And then you got a bunch of those kids mixing with kids who are really, really clean free kids nowadays because nobody's, like you got to. Even my son, he was like, I need my hand sanitizer for school. I'm doing push-ups off the ground and, I don't want it on my hands. Wow. At the end of the day, I'm like, dude, you're 11. If this is the way you want to live your life, this is the way you got to live your life. I'm not
it is what it is. But still, it's like, man, that's...
But me, I was like, man, when I got blood on my fingers, sucking blood out of my own, it's like you get dirt, you get, like George Carlin used to say, he's like, I never wash my hands. He's like, the only time I ever wash my hands is when I take a shit, and not even then always, not unless my finger breaks through that paper.
I'll tell you, I did catch my kids doing some gross shit the other day, licking their palms and then climbing up the slide.
Well, that's not disgusting, that's just...
And then licking your palms again and climbing back up the slide, that's fucking disgusting. Dude.
No,
I was like, no wonder why you guys have been sick for fucking 3 weeks straight. That's fucking disgusting.
Then we're going to have some wicked good immune systems. You understand that?
I get it. I get the concept. It sticks.
And I can honestly say I've done the same thing with my shoes a million times.
I mean, yeah.
You ever try to get the grip of my shoes?
Oh, really? I've never licked the bottom of my shoe to get grip.
I would lick the bottom of my hand and wipe it on the bottom of my shoes, get the dirt off.
Now, see, I've maybe I've done something like that, but I would never lick the bottom of my shoe. Come on, Diedrich. Sorry, Diedrich. No, I'm sorry. Shout out to Diedrich, though. One time I saw him lick the bricks from the concrete onto the brick wall and all the way up, and those bricks were 3 feet up off the school. So yeah. He was one of those who loved attention. He'll do anything for some people to look at him.
I laugh at something that seems so mild now.
Well, I mean,
comparatively. Yeah. Well, I mean, we literally got to Tide Pod age. You know what I mean? Everything became a challenge.
Yeah.
Can you eat a thing of cinnamon? Can you chug a gallon of milk in one
Did you ever drink bleach trying to pass a drug test?
Nope.
I did. A couple drops of bleach in a glass of water. Fucking disgusting.
And then...
I don't even remember if it worked or not.
I was gonna say, I'm sure they can just test and there's bleach.
Yeah, it was not good. I do not recommend that.
Messing with the sample.
Yeah, one time I did get away.
I just want to take a DJ. Are you learning something here? Are you researching?
He's watching YouTube.
I mean, granted, those are some pretty sweet plans.
Our DJ is distracted watching YouTube.
Dennis Rodman at his finest. Is he working behind the scenes? No, he's looking at pinwheels.
Hey, we're lucky he's not playing Tarkov.
We are lucky. At the end of the day, it's been pretty quiet on the Tarkov end.
Yeah, I haven't played any Rocket League either because EJ's still banned for another 24 hours, I think.
Wonder when, because how come it must be just like game specific then? Because I'm sure like the Call of Duties and the Modern Warfares, I'm sure those guys don't get reported nearly as much, or maybe
no, yeah, and I'm sure it's the game. He just keeps
say some horrendous stuff.
Oh yeah, people are still getting reported though for sure.
This is a good topic for conversation here. We are watching this video yesterday, and there's a bunch of these guys in one of the lobbies, and he's like talking about their wiener size. He's like, did you know that there's another 4 or 5 inches of wiener inside your body that you just have to essentially pull out of yourself? And he's like, well, hell, I guess if I just pull hard enough, we can get it out there. He's like, wait, 4 inches? You're telling me I got more dick inside my body than outside of my body?
Damn.
And
ouch.
That's probably the best video I saw yesterday. I was like, hey, for all you know, the short fellers out there, there's hope.
There's
you
hope.
Just gotta dig inside yourself and pull it out.
You see, the more you yank it, the more you're pulling out every time. It's minimal. It's about a fraction of a centimeter every tug. So it's got to be a lot of tugs. That's why I'm so big. I've tugged a lot.
He tugged a lot. He's a little engine that could tug.
I think I can. Oh,
so jeez. More controversial news, it looks like, between the hurricanes and the Diddy news.
Oh,
and
man,
now
there's so much Diddy news.
They brought back the news on the Titanic guy. Well, that Titan sub.
Yeah, I have a feeling like that was either there was nobody in that submarine and it was to fake their own deaths and they're in Cuba or something, or it was a plan to get those specific people in that submarine down there to because they were really high profile people in that sub.
Weren't they all? There was a billionaire on there, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were all high pro. I don't know exactly what, but they were high profile people and one of their kids, but still. It's like it's weird.
But then, I mean, granted, the guy's now dead, and you'll never be able to fact check him.
You'll never know.
But I mean, the CEO has come out himself, and he's like, "This is a terrible idea from the get go." And that guy, he was so convinced that it was gonna work, and I can see somebody like human nature to be. You need it to work.
Yeah,
that you convince yourself that
you've
it
invested
will be
so
fine.
much money and time into this.
He was so convinced that he's like, I'm going down. I gotta come. I have a granddaughter. I'll be seeing her soon. And I said even getting that thing on the ship, and then it was falling apart even before they even put it in the water.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And the CEO came out. He's like, they were gonna kill me.
Yeah,
like, that is
I did watch a little bit of him talking about it, and he's like, yeah, we were just in the testing where we didn't even go that deep, and he was like, this ain't, I no.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, that guy's doing everything as possible to make it work, and if it works, he's a legend.
Yeah,
as the guy who's able to take people down and look at a crash that happened almost 100 years ago.
Would you go? Even if it had worked and that submarine, let's say it worked, would you go?
I think I'd go if I knew that there was no.
Yeah, like it worked. Now they've refined it. It's 10 years later. You'd go?
Yeah.
I don't know if I could stuff myself in a small submersible like that and be in it for 8 hours.
Yeah, and that's like, I mean, you go past maybe a couple days, and then I would start to lose it.
Oh,
I always wondered, like, you gotta get out to Navy men, man. Those guys
being stuck on a ship for
6 months in the water,
never seeing land. But I mean, at least
surrounded by that much semen.
It's my normal Friday night.
And it's just you.
Yeah, exactly. Those are just tissues all around my bed. Lay them down like rose petals.
A lot of salty tears. A lot of salty tears.
Rose petals all over the bed, except for they're not rose petals. They're just tissues. Ripped up tissues.
What's wrong, Daddy? I was crying all night out of my one-eyed snake. So we got Florida, big hurricane getting ready to hit.
Yeah,
so
actually,
Florida,
it's already hit.
Cover. It's already hit.
It's already
touched
hit.
Land?
Oh yeah.
I thought it was getting ready.
It's the hardest, the strongest hurricane to hit the Big Bend portion of inland. So
is it Big Ben or Big Bend?
It might be Bend. Big Bend.
Just like everything, you need to have the D in there.
Ooh. But yeah, I know a buddy. I actually was just looking on my Facebook, and he marked himself safe from the hurricane. The hurricane has passed. His house is okay. Half of his fence is torn down, and he's got 30-foot tall trees laying down all over the place, and the neighborhood's wrecked. But his house is okay, so they survived it. Yeah,
good for him. Thank goodness.
So yeah, I'm glad. I know.
Hey, and if your stuff is okay, well, now you have no better reason than to go help your damn neighbor out.
Yeah,
go get them looking good again if your house is
I have
safe.
one other friend who's down there in Florida. I haven't seen any posts from him, so I'll keep an eye out to make sure he's okay too. But I think he was northern
DJ,
Florida, so he might not even have been
there,
arrested. He might have
had
been affected.
Hurricane. You guys stayed down there, wouldn't it? What was the name of that when you guys were down there? I just remember calling,
making sure he was okay.
Well, I can't remember if Tony was still down there at the time or not either. It was just pretty wild. I'm like, man, these guys take off down from Florida.
And then a hurricane hits. Yeah.
It's like, geez.
Worst natural disaster we've had here in Billings was that tornado that ripped the roof off of the metro.
I was like...
I shouldn't say ripped the roof off.
The corner?
Yeah, it took a little bit.
I think the one was... And it doesn't even exist anymore. There was that casino on Main Street. Ian?
Oh, Hurricane Ian. I remember hearing about Ian.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
The casino on Main Street got taken down?
Well, that was... I can't even remember the name of the casino. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was right there by the metro. I think where the gas station stands now.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Was a casino, and it got destroyed. And
kind of right up next to the Applebee's there then?
After it.
Okay, a little ways down. Okay.
But either way, I was like... That was pretty insane watching, because we have the rims over right above us. We're basically, if you look at Billings, we're in a bowl. You have people who live on top of the bowl, and you have people who live in the bowl.
I thought about that when I was looking down the other day, where the Heights comes down at is pretty much the only spot that doesn't have the rims right there until you get a little to the south. I think the south part, it opens up with no rims, but being the first one to show up there, you'd be like, damn, this is a nice little
safe area.
Yeah, safe spot down in this little... I can see why they
back there.
Yeah, see why they built here. Definitely.
Also, yeah, if you got then you can have guys looking out up top. You know what I mean? It is a legit little spot, except now we're surrounded by refineries. Mm-hmm. So as soon as the smog comes rolling, it always just sits in our little bowl here and chokes us all to death. Can't be as bad as them boys over in Pennsylvania.
Oh my God! Dude, I fucking can't believe how did we never learn about that in school?
The closest I ever got to, because at Pennsylvania, those guys were really between the mining and metal fabrication, because they have huge smithing operations out there, and like their air control, they have, and each one of their houses has like a oxygen level.
O2, is it O2?
Whatever
or CO2? CO2, carbon monoxide detector.
It's not even just carbon monoxide. It's any type of particulate that's in the air that makes it unable to, like, you're not healthy to breathe. And you have like really sparse windows, maybe an hour here, maybe an hour here during the day that you're actually allowed to be outside. Other than that, it's like dangerous.
Wow. Yeah, no thanks. It gets dangerous here when we get fires. But yeah, so Centralia, Pennsylvania is a coal fire that has been burning since 1963, and they say it will burn for another 250 years until all that coal is gone.
And then
that's nuts.
That's the way to make it go away. That's the only way to. I mean, technology's come a long
I was gonna say you
ways.
You would think that now we should be able to drill into the top and get some type of suppressant down there.
No,
but
I'm like, can't you just plug it a hole? They need oxygen to do its thing.
But if it's getting, I mean, there's cracks in the ground now, all over and stuff. You're getting oxygen.
If you just cover it, what does it burn into the ground again?
I wonder. You would think, dude. You would think with advances in modern science and my high level income. Just kidding. That's a Ricky Bobby quote. But seriously, you'd think that they'd have some way to combat that. They're just going to let it burn for 250 years.
I think
and then they're going to
bitch
bitch about us driving a fucking gasoline engine when you've got 250,000 fucking liters of coal burning under Pennsylvania.
That's natural.
For 60 years that you haven't been able to put out.
That's natural.
And it's going to go for another 250?
That's what's so wild too. It almost seems like something that happened back then. They're like, "Oh, I'll just go ahead and walk away from this and pretend it never happened
and never tell anybody
about it.
Let's
go check about this fire. What do you mean it's still burning? We did that 7 years ago. Yep, still on fire.
Should we tell the American people about this? No.
Well, I mean, it is wild too in that regard because you always hear that you can't tell the American people because the American people couldn't handle it, and it would go into a state of chaos.
Yeah,
they're always saying that if aliens came, we couldn't tell them because everybody would freak out.
Even Trump with the Kennedy files. Trump was like, "I'm going to release the Kennedy files." Gets in office, he goes, "After what I saw, I'm not going to release them."
Because that was this. Is it this next year that the Kennedy files are supposed to get
declassified?
Yeah, it was like
they will never declassify what actually happened. Never. They'll declassify some really, bullshit really story.
High end, you know what I mean? Researchers into this stuff. Like a guy was on Rogan.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you write 3 books on it?
If there's not enough evidence there, you ain't writing book.
He seems like he's barely hit the tip of the iceberg when it came, because then you start getting Sirhan involved in all of that, and how, like, what was that, becoming KGB agents and then finding out KGB agents and sleeper cells and all this other things that were happening back then, and the experimentation that was happening on
dude, MK Ultra, and they're just freaking dousing people with freaking acid.
Or you got Charles Manson and then going to jail and letting him out.
Charles Manson, there's a theory that he was curated by the CIA or FBI 100%. To go out and do that shit.
Well, there's a lot of details that kind of corroborate it too, because how does a guy who really was nobody, was just a common criminal, and is able to essentially go in and out of jail freely? And then, like, how many times can you get picked up for being a pimp?
Well, not only that, but
let you out every single time.
Start a cult and get access into some famous celebrities' houses and shit.
But that, I mean, because he did have a song. I mean, he was a musician. The song isn't terrible for being a Charles Manson song. The Beach Boys really just ripped it off. You know what I mean? You got to think of a world where the Beach Boys let Charles Manson be part of the group, and you don't get any of the Manson murders.
No, because the freaking dude was fed the acid or given the acid so he could go feed it to other people so that they could say, look, acid is bad. These people did a bunch of it and killed our celebrities. So it's a bad thing. We shouldn't do it.
Well, it's really tough too. I mean, we go to acid, and acid is man-made in itself. It's created in a lab. It's not natural.
But it was. Well, God, I just watched that.
That was supposed to be a truth serum.
Yeah, I think that's what they first started to make it for.
That's what it was for, is to be a truth serum, and it turned out, it tells you the truth, but you also see a whole lot of other stuff with it. The
story about the doctors. He found it, right? And then he took what he thought was a small dose. It was not. It was a big dose. So he was like, I guess he was all fucking tripping balls. But then what they did is they created a room in the lab that all the doctors could go and test some LSD. And they would just go in there and they'd try some, and they'd just be tripping balls. That's when it was first invented. They had no idea what it was. The guy who invented it took a huge shot of it, got all fucked up, and was like, we need to lower that dose. And then doctors were just fucking bumping LSD.
Man. And it literally, if anybody who knows about that illicit substance, you just need a drop. A little dab will do you.
Mm-hmm.
And
one time I got one drop straight to the tongue, and it was the highest I've ever been on LSD. One drop to the tongue.
Man, we had, I couldn't tell you exactly which one was the most intense, because it was like, it really did make a resurgence. Like, it was like the hippie days. We were starting to see it, and we had sugar cubes and blotter paper. And
well, I went to
pulling a little tab out of your. I've had this thing in my freezer for 3 years, like all wrapped in tinfoil.
I went to a folk festival in South Dakota, and that's where I did that. And it was just a big hippie festival, dude. My girlfriend at the time was on mushrooms, and I was on LSD. It was odd. it was a weird night.
I always wondered why those always go hand in hand. It seems like folk music and
drugs.
Well, just tripping.
Hippies.
It's
like a hippie vibe.
Well, it just seems like you already have found like the beauty in the world, slow paced, just admiring everything.
Everyone's enjoying everybody's company, and no one cares that you're wearing your cargo pants that have a stain on them. You know what I mean?
And then you're like, but you know what? I need to see me some demons. Let's go take some acid.
The goal when you take acid is not to see the demons. I don't know what acid you're taking.
It's all, look at ayahuasca. It's the same thing. You got to face your demons. There's a reason they call it the ego death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. But
at least you know that's a fake death.
Yeah, you can never know if a death has been faked, really.
What are you going to do if, like, say, okay, Curtis has now gotten super famous, can't handle the limelight anymore, he just wants people to leave him the fuck alone. How are you faking your death?
I've actually thought about just disappearing before, but that won't work because people will look for you. They got to find your car somewhere.
Well, like if you're last week after the episode, we're going, and that might have been the other episode, but about all these resurgence of people that are supposedly dead, but we keep finding them.
Right.
Like Tupac. And
yeah, I was just going to ask how you felt about the Tupac one.
He literally sent me one. Elvis still alive? I was like, they found the man dead on the shitter. How much more evidence do you need for somebody being dead?
Paul Walker was another one. They think Paul Walker is now Vance, who's running with Trump. Like, no.
It's just like,
there's this
on, everybody.
Yeah,
you got to stop for 1 second before you just keep eating up the nonsense.
I like to send them to you because they're so bad. There's this one guy who does it. He'll do like facial comparisons, and if like the facial structure is the same, he'll be like, "Yep, these are the same people." It's like, dude, look at the eyes. Like, yeah, the face lines up the same, but don't they say everybody's got like 2 or 3 what is it called? Doppelgangers? Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm constantly being told that there's another doppelganger in town.
In town too, huh?
And I'm like, just because there's another fat Mexican running around does not mean it's me. Please.
I will say this is one thing, because I have moved quite a bit, is I find that I find people who remind me of people from here everywhere, right?
That would make sense.
I would go to South Dakota and I'd find someone who looks similar and acts similar to Ben. And then I'd be like, this is the Ben of South Dakota. And then I'd go to Alaska and I meet my buddy Joe, who is the Ben of Alaska kind of things. Like, it's really weird. I'll find that like my main friends, I will find another version of them in another town when I move there. It's really weird.
It would be so cool to gather them all up. Come on, we're headed back to meet your counterparts.
Come on, Bens.
I don't know if you want a whole
group of Bens.
That'd be a lot. It'd probably.
They weren't all named Ben either, but
I was gonna say, as long as they're a Ben Young, maybe. If they're me Ben, that's the problem. 5 of me, we're gonna get along, and then somebody's gonna connive and stab the other one in the back.
It was nice seeing Ben. I forgot how funny he was.
Man, talk about just great people,
dude, and just quick, witty. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, we were playing some games, and he just had some one-liners. Goddamn, Ben.
And one of the best at telling jokes. I don't know how many times he's told me this one joke and I butcher it. And every time I see him, I'm like, tell the nun joke. Tell the nun joke. And he's just like, no, you say it. And then I say it. And he's like, yeah, you told it so wrong.
It's like this.
Well, I get the punchline.
Man, good old days, dude. Because that was a good old Elder Grove days.
It is a luxury when you can look back and you're like, wow, these guys that we have grown up with for the last 20, literally almost 30 years.
I always thought it was really crazy too when my parents would see somebody they haven't seen in 20 years and be like, oh, so and so, I remember. But then now that I'm older and you see someone and you're like, I haven't seen them since I was 10, but I know exactly who that is. Like, I can tell that face is a grown-up face of my buddy back in middle school.
I was going to say, it happens to me all the time where I'm like, oh, did you see about so-and-so? So-and-so was doing this now. That's kind of cool. Like, it happens to me probably more than anything.
Well, especially because you were a coach, so you were coaching younger kids who now, 5-10 years later, are becoming adults and kind of moving into that world. So
yeah, we literally were at that transition where we're not kids anymore. We're definitely full grown ass men, but now it's the whole next generation. It's literally being born and brought up, and now they're just a bunch of little farts and really old farts.
Dude, it's like my daughter's 8. I cannot believe that. That's nuts to me.
And it's like every day is that much closer to them being that much older. So it's like, even yesterday, I was like, because I'm kind of a tyrant at nights, you know what I mean? I'm like, you gotta go to bed. But last night, I want to stay up with them a little bit later, hang out with them. Just because, it's like, how much, you don't always gonna have this for the rest of your life. I mean, one day I'm going to call my son. He's going to be too busy to talk.
And I've been telling myself that a lot recently, is that enjoy this because soon your daughter's going to want nothing to do with you. So I'm really trying to just have a better attitude about the little things that I'm like, wow, this is annoying. She's still asking me to do this. She's 8. But I'm like, because I've made the mistake of being like, grow up. I've told her to grow up before. And then like, I think about it. I'm like, it's the last thing I want,
And sometimes I was like, but if you don't have that expectation, then it's kind of worrisome because you're like,
are they ever going to grow up?
Not even so that are they going to grow up, that you have people who have grown and matured past them at this point, and those people can manipulate them and take advantage of them. That's like the back end of it. You're like, we're worried for our own
Let's
damn kids.
Go. What's up? Sorry, I didn't answer your phone call. I just ignored his phone call. I didn't put him on the pod. Sorry.
Call back in. Let's see what you got for the corner.
Let's see what we got for the conspiracy corner. We are talking about fake deaths. We are talking about the Titan, or is that what it's called? Yeah, the Ocean Gate Titan.
We can figure out what's
call back. We can call him.
Whatever you want to do.
He's just gonna cuss. He gonna say bad words. Wait, if I beat him to it, fuck shit. Then don't matter.
Does it count if you're not calling him?
Is he prepared? Is he prepared with the conspiracy corner stuff? Yo, you got anything for the conspiracy corner today?
No, but I do an invention I was thinking about. I was going to share it with you. So,
okay.
Dude, underwear with an air freshener built in. That way, so if you ever rip one in public, dude, it, kind of scents the area with, fragrance instead of...
They already have that with ball deodorant.
Ball deodorant? Well, no, you would put this as it'd be in the butt pad. So when you fart, your fart goes through the air freshener. And then so you're farting flowers or ocean breeze.
Is that a thing? Or is that not a thing?
We might have to look that up because I want to say it might even be there.
Can we look into the...
I love DJ's search history.
Yeah, can we look into... boxer technology?
Air freshener boxer technology. Dude, unfortunately, we're live, so someone's going to steal your idea. Febreze? Nice, DJ. Febreze. I love it. All right, sounds good, brother. Thank you. Febreze. I love that, dude.
I was like, hey, can you look this up? And he's like, shut up. I have a joke. I got
something else to do. But briefs, dude, I fucking love that.
It already is a thing. I was gonna say, but I know that they have like ball deodorant and all that deodorant.
Yeah, I know. There's full body deodorant that just came out now, but that would make sense. Are
you rocking a full body deodorant?
Oh, I don't even. Same with my shampoo. I think I'm gonna stop using deodorant. When I use it is when I actually like get like enough sweat to like have to wipe it with my shirt. But when I don't, I usually don't have that much. It's so weird, dude. Just like with my shampoo, I was losing a lot of hair, and I stopped using shampoo, and now I'm not losing as much hair. I'm still losing it. I'm gonna go bald regardless.
Oh, you haven't noticed any like?
I've noticed
turning back the hands of time.
No, not turning back the hands of time, but I've noticed a lot less hair in my comb when I comb it out.
Have you done the whole avocado oil? You gotta use avocado and coconut oil in your hair. You should really use coconut oil. That stuff is actually supposed to help your regrowth. It's really good for your face too. But if you have naturally oily skin, it can tend to clog your pores.
Because I do. That's actually a really good question either.
Because I gotta say, I think Andrew was using coconut oil for his hair, and you've seen how long luxurious that boy's hair is. But I mean, most of my brothers have the ability to grow some really long hair. Me, it's about as good as it gets.
I want to go to like a really nice hair place and be like, "How is my hair?" and ask her, be like, "What products do you think I use in my hair?" Because I do want to know if it is healthy or not.
Hey, I mean, if we got our locals out there, hit up Rebels and Razors. My girl Sammy over there, man.
I might. She sounds like she knows. Like I said, I just want to know. I just want to know if what I'm doing is healthy, or because if she looks at it and says, "Oh wow, your hair is healthy. It looks like you use some type of product," I'm gonna keep going with what I'm doing.
100%. And then if you want to talk about somebody whose just heart is in it for the right reasons, I can't even make this up, man. I'm down there yesterday just kind of waiting to get my hair cut, and this little boy comes walking in. He's obviously homeless. He's got to be like maybe 14, 15 years old. And, without hesitation, Sammy has gone out of her way to make sure this little boy has got new clothes, like new used clothes from her son. Got this little boy dressed and everything, let him shower.
Dang.
Literally getting this kid back on his feet after his caretaker has abused the system. Like I've heard this more than once. Sad deal. But yeah, they just take that money and then they pocket it, and they're just they're druggies, so they in turn just buy more. And then you got some kid who could have
used that money, or food stamps or whatever.
And it's so, I mean, his mom got sick, died from a disease. And then the dad abandoned from the get-go. Yeah. So now this kid is 15 years old, 14, 15, and literally like, I guess I have to become an adult in order to survive every night.
That's nuts.
And then, because she asked me yesterday, she was like, I don't even understand how they find you. Like, how do they keep finding me? And I'm like, I'm sorry, Sammy. It's your energy. Like and once you have that in you, they will come and find you. It
is a thing, dude. I've seen it. It
drives me nuts.
I have a personality that attracts the craziest people, but I'm not going to turn them away. Best story about this. And if you ever hear this, guys, I don't mean this with any offense, but me and my buddy Joe knew a couple homeless. It was a homeless couple, and they smelled so bad. We could only hang out with them once a week. But once a week, we'd take them out. We'd go smoke our weed with them. We'd just treat them like they were our best friends. We'd, hop in the car. We'll go. And one time I gave them a half ounce of resin. I had a pipe. We scraped it, weighed it, and it was a half ounce of resin. They had that shit gone in 2 days. But it was one of those things where I worked at the coffee shop. They came in, and just my energy, they just wanted to be around us all the time. So once you have that, they're not kidding. Once you have that aura or that vibe, you attract people that need it.
I was going to say, they show, I mean, even with the smallest amount of life, you can push everything back into the darkness.
It's like the spirit dog thing we were talking about. I feel myself a little bit as a spirit dog, because there's people that come into my life that I feel like I have to do things for, and even if I'm not going to get anything in return, you know?
And that's an incredible place. I find myself on the back end of it, and I got yelled at several times by a old mentor. Because it really does go back to, it's like when everybody's like, why me? Why me? Why not you? You know what I mean? Especially if you've been kind of put into a position to handle your business, and sometimes you just got to suck it up, because that is sometimes it's just only because if it's not you, maybe nobody can do it, and you are the person for that position at that time. And this is probably a little explanation for a lot of my people who wondered where I went and then just bam, kind of popped back up. But that was I literally disappeared from it all because it was overwhelming. It was too much, and it was slowly killing me. But at the same time, I took the easy way out for myself and bailed because it was too much. That
fucking hits home so hard with me, because same thing after my divorce, dude, I wanted nothing to do with nobody. Luckily, Robbie took me in, so he was, I was like, he was my one guy I'd go to and tell everything to. But it's just like, I feel that so much, because it's exactly how I feel. I stepped away for a little bit, and that was probably selfish of me, because it's like, if we have these energies that people feed off of, we can't just shut down and disappear.
Well, that might be why you're even here in the first place. As much as it might drive you nuts to have to deal with it,
you might be the light in everyone else's life, and that can be your life. That is okay.
And and it's so selfish on my own part, because sometimes, obviously, I didn't want that. I don't want that. It sucks when you become number one. Everyone's calling. Yeah, you're the problem now. You have to solve everything. You have to. And I had the luxury of being number two. I spent 20 years probably my life being number two. Guess what? Everybody loves number two.
But being number one, and like I said, if everyone is calling you, all your best friends are calling you with their problems, it does take a toll on you, on your mental health. It will. And then
and I know a lot of stoic men out there who it is easier just to deal with it by yourself and only me and not affect anybody else. Why can't I just live like that? And it's like, well, guess what? Sorry, buddy. You got called to do this, and this. You might not have asked to been called, but guess what? It's your number. Get up there and do it.
For as much as I help people with their problems, I bottle mine up 100%.
That in itself, that's so funny. She had sent me over this thing. She's like, you have friends? He's like, yes, I love my friends. I do anything for them. They call me, I'm there. You need me. And then they're like, okay, so now can you express to me your emotions? You're like, no, I'm going to bury those things way down deep, never bring them up again. And like, well, do you see the issue there? Mm-hmm. I was like, but we were also, you just weren't raised that way you were supposed to bury that shit. Yeah. Men don't cry. Men don't have feelings. Men are damn men for a reason. And sometimes I was like, even having your eyes opened a little bit to the, to feeling, it does almost become like you're giving somebody else a weapon to use against you by making yourself softer.
Yeah, I've done that, man. I've been helping people through a rough time, and then I mention the rough time that I'm going through, and it falls on deaf ears, and then I just lose all motivation to try to help them get through their shit.
Because you find yourself being like, well, I know from now on just not
to bring it up. Yep, not gonna bring it up to them because they don't care.
It's just easier. I'll just bury it down, and I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing. Obviously, it's worked up into this point.
Yeah, and that was honestly why my marriage failed, 100%, because I couldn't express to her the ways I was feeling 100%. Because I didn't want to. It was like,
even now, I've watched it on both, because if you were like someone myself, you go through relationship after relationship and every single one of them fails. I mean, I'd be literally retarded if I didn't ever stop and look at myself and go, man,
why?
You are the...
Yeah.
Maybe you caused a lot of these problems. Maybe you weren't up to a par where you said that you were going to be. And when I look back at my own self, I'm like, damn, yeah, I am a straight liar when I came to a lot of the things that I said I was going to accomplish.
Yeah. Procrastinator, I think, is how I would put it. Is like, I will eventually do those things that I told you I was going to do. It's just going to take me a long time. And which can be troublesome as well. You know,
I was on that back end. Yeah, if you don't ever put a limit on something, a time limit on it, then yeah, I guess you have till an infinity.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about, just not letting yourself, I guess, be the center of the universe.
Yeah. But at the same,
everything in this, I mean, you hear a lot of things. You got to put yourself before you put anybody else. You got to. And unfortunately, when everybody starts putting themselves above
everybody else, then you have a whole society of people who say it's my way, I need it. It's like my kids, dude. If you tell Logan or Izzy no, if they hear no or that they are not getting what they want, they flip shit and just start crying. Like, this is not how the fucking world works. There's gonna be so many days that you don't get what you want, and you can't just sit there and cry because of it.
The luxury is, it seems like school has a good way of kind of filtering that out.
And of course, any kid is different at school than they are with their parents.
Yeah, Nando, single kid, you know what I mean? Has an older sister, but it's such a big gap.
Yeah, that
he's essentially like an only kid. And when you have that much time alone with yourself and your parents, and then you go into another household that's got 5 or 6 kids running around with one parent, it shell shocked him. I mean, he was like, I want to let you know, Dad, at the sleepover, I didn't sleep at all. They were so loud, I couldn't sleep. And I'm like, this is the way we grew up. I mean, there could be so much noise happening around, explosions, and I still fall asleep.
Yep. That was one good thing my ex did when the kids were born. She started vacuum, or like, as soon as the kids would fall asleep for a nap, pull out the vacuum.
My cousin Brandy almost verbatim does the same exact thing.
And guess what?
All her kids are damn near grown.
And those kids can sleep through a goddamn hurricane. It worked. Genius.
But it is like comparative to a white noise machine, right?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. She did it just to be noisy so that they wouldn't get so used to waking up whenever they heard one little noise.
'Cause Nando, when he was little, he had to have like the lights off, super peaceful, quiet, the whole 9 yards. But now he's just like me. I mean, when he gets to get tired, he just out.
So Logan used to be pitch black, no night light. You set him down, you walk out, and he was asleep. He was the best little baby. But now, of course, Izzy is getting, because Izzy, I've laid with her for bed and scratched her back like every night for fucking years. Now I'm not going to stop because one day she will ask me to stop. And yeah. But now that's in turn. Now Logan's like, you're going to scratch my back? You're going to lay with me for 15 minutes? So yeah, it's pretty terrible on my my bedtime routine.
Well, that's just tough.
And I can't put him to bed at the same time, because if I put him down to bed at the same time, they don't sleep. They sit there and they talk, and
which is still adorable on its own end when they're supposed to be sleeping. Hey, you sleeping?
No. You want to jump on the bed until Dad hears it? Yes.
Oh, they go hardcore with it.
Yeah. I haven't tried in like 6 months, so maybe they'd be better about it now. But yeah, so I'll go put Logan in bed, give Izzy another 45 minutes, and then so when we take Izzy into bed, Logan's asleep. Then I got to tell Izzy she's got to be quiet so she can't talk to me, because she'll lay there in bed and talk to me for an hour, tell me all about everything.
Which is so fascinating. Like, kids never run out of talking. My Nando was doing the same thing before. He's like, I just got 5 more minutes. I just got to tell you something real quick. I just got 2 more minutes. I just got to tell you something real quick. And I'm like, We're already
good God.
so much after you were supposed to get asleep. And like, how come you didn't think of any of these things 40 minutes ago?
Yeah, like when we got in the car and I said, "How was school?" All of these stories you could have told me then. Now you're telling me.
Hey, Dad, let me tell you how my school day.
Let me tell ya.
So yeah,
We didn't verify about for briefs. Hopefully, no one has taken our idea for briefs. But I would think about this. We're going back to for briefs now. If you fart into an ocean breeze air freshener and your fart smells so horrid that it just mixes with the ocean breeze and makes it smells even more horrid, is that at that point, is that even
I guess that is a little
a good
counterproductive.
design? What? You would have to have... I got it.
Jockeys.
You have a filter. First you have a filter, and then you
they
have...
already got it.
Oh, it's already a
no,
thing?
He just got excited about that one because it's got
it's
an
got the ball
elephant
pouch?
trunk on the...
Dude,
Bro, you gotta watch how you're like...
it's the ball pouch. I'm actually wearing a pair of those right now. No, it's a hot dog.
It's a hot dog.
No, seriously, it's a hot dog. I'm legitimately wearing my ball pouch right now.
Shout out to your sponsors.
So...
That's the part
pouch, a ball. They call it a ball hammock. The ball hammock pouch technology helps stop the family jewels from getting crushed in the grundle. I think that's in between your like where your thigh meets your gooch. The grundle. Chode. Another word for chode. Gooch.
City Brew this weekend, Perks members free
Nice.
12-ounce drip coffee with any food.
Nobody wants a drip coffee.
No?
It's a full. That's just like what we're drinking now. This is drip coffee, Folgers or whatever. Theirs might be good though, because it's going to be their house blend. It would be a good way to go test their coffee and see how it is.
I don't know anything about coffee.
But so with the for briefs, if you do a filter and then the air freshener. So first it filters out the fart, and then just the air is what's pushing out the smell.
Also,
For briefs, we might be able to do this.
Yeah, scented underwear is actually a thing.
Scented underwear, but that's not a replaceable air freshener that you can slide into the butt pouch.
Yeah, but then you gotta have like a zipper or something because you're gonna have to pull that every time you gotta wash.
Yeah. You're gonna have to replace it every time you wash.
That'd be so annoying. That's too much
Throw a
work.
dryer sheet in your butt.
There you go, dude.
Is that no?
I got it.
Dryer sheet in my butt's not gonna work.
You wear the type of underwear that I'm wearing, the one that has the ball pouch. You shove dryer sheets in the ball pouch and put them on backwards. Boom. For briefs.
No, the front's gonna suck then.
Yeah, it's gonna be real tight.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm so
like
happy
that
they've gone into, changing boxers finally.
The ball hammock. I love that they call it the ball hammock.
You guys are
They're not great.
Still on the
It's like
Ken dolls.
I was all excited, like this is gonna be the best thing ever. It's like the pouch is too small, my balls are too big. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really need it.
Sure
My
you
balls
can.
are in my body.
I don't know if y'all just heard DJ or not, but I don't think I need him. My balls are in my body. It's cold. It's cold. I'm Munich. Oh, that was such a good movie. EJ's laughing over there.
I'm trying to think of
not get him to the Greek. Year One.
Was that year one? Or was that no?
Where he's like, it's KG from Kyle Gass, and he's like, I'm a Munich, and he's got a little peck of his balls. You haven't seen Year One?
Why do you think it was?
Jack?
I thought that was the other one with Your Highness. When he's like, I just need you to come over here and like jerk off this whatever it is so that he can get. You have to watch it.
No, yeah, Year One I'm pretty sure
eunuch?
KG was the eunuch. Yeah,
I have to watch that one.
that was such a good movie because
Michael
it
Cera and
Jack Black. Yep. But it went through a bunch of like the biblical stories in the most hilarious way, dude. I
100%.
loved that movie
It
because
is goofy good. I like the high speed chase. I remember that scene.
Oh, yeah.
When they're going like 3 miles an hour.
He gets sick afterwards. The first time riding on the thing with wheels, yeah.
That had to have been.
Oh, that'd have been the funnest movie to make because
That
they're just
just reminded me. I come home the other day and on the TV is like this old caveman movie, but it's like a really modern caveman. Like, but they go in a cave, you know, and there's some other people, other cave people in this place, and they go in there, and I guess they just like they went to go find their daughter. The daughter ended up being like taken care of by this other group, but they thought they had kidnapped their daughter type of thing. So they went in there and gonna get their daughter back, you know, and they're killing everybody. And then, yeah, it turns out that they had the same ritual practices that they did, you know. Same thing like watching this Lord of the Rings, this season 2, you know what I mean? That's what it's gone. They're going and trying to humanize like orcs, like the things that we've literally demonized for this entire time. It's like they still have the same practices with their dead. They still mourn their dead like we do.
I mean, even if you think about it, if there was another race of, you know, hominids, you know, it'd be very similar to us, but we would probably go to war with them.
Oh, well,
even though,
they've already shown that what is our Homo erectus?
Was it the one before us?
They went to war with cavemen.
I mean, it's just human.
Neanderthals, there we go.
It's human
Homo
nature
erectus.
to fight.
They showed it. I mean, the second that you had more than two people would do whatever they have to in order to survive
Together.
3 people becomes these two have something, I want it, or this guy has it, we can get together, we can get that from him.
Oh dang! Yep. You then if you once you get 3, then you can form alliances.
Yep.
That could detriment the third party.
Yeah, and unless you can get all 3 like working in a perfect order, even if you have what ends up turning into like you have one hierarchy and then 2 underneath it, or like a council, but eventually the more members you have,
the more drama.
So there's always going to be somebody underneath those people because of seniority.
And the more people you get, there's always going to be somebody whispering, well, I could do it better than that guy.
That, I think, is I really want to get into something. That whole idea, like where somebody gets it in their head that they can do it better than somebody else. Somebody who's spent their entire time, this is what I've been perfecting my craft, along with dealing with the nonsense.
Wonder if that's what the second shooter thought about Trump. I
can
get this guy. I don't know what that other guy's problem was.
At the end of the day,
I got this.
But he still failed.
Yep. I think it's so crazy that if it's not if it's not planned by like a government facility higher up, the fact that people are crazy enough to believe that killing him is the only option scares me even more, because if they are the people that think anyone but Trump, I gotta go kill Trump, that means that those people have brainwashed the American people so bad that they're willing to kill somebody because of what he may or may not do if he gets in office.
Yeah, and I don't understand, what are they seeing with their eyes that is causing them to really think? Because like at the end of the day, like, yeah, granted, Trump, to me, he brought a lot of people who were bigots to the forefront, where those people who were bigots got that ability to express those opinions pretty openly and honesty, like,
yeah,
and with no real backlash, which, as somebody who, you know, has got a little tint to their skin, it goes a little scary, you know, when you got a lot of Proud Boys out there representing.
Yeah,
it becomes a little scary.
But he did good things as a president. You know, we were energy dependent. We were drilling a lot of oil here. We were shipping
business
out.
Side
business side.
100%.
Yeah.
But even with him kind of like up in the angst of a nation, I still was never like up in arms over it, because it's like you get a blip of it for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it's on. And then if you turn the news off, I have not seen a picture of Kamala. I haven't seen a picture of Biden. I haven't seen a picture of Trump. I don't even know who all the members of the House of Representatives are, who's on the Senate. I barely pay attention to Tim Sheehy and John Tester here in our own local. Because say all society collapsed tomorrow, I'm still going to go talk to my neighbor.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, try and especially after what you said to me this morning, try not to get all involved in this political season because it usually doesn't affect us other than prices.
I feel like the people who are probably the most effective at helping America are anybody who can sit down and read the legal
and understand it.
Yeah, and then break it down for dummies, so then the dummies can have half an education. And you got to be super selfless about it because there's really nothing to be gained except for helping.
The education system is weird now too. I kind of wish I could homeschool, but I don't have the patience for that. And I'm a single parent family. It'd be near impossible for me, at least.
Yeah, but he never said impossible. Nothing is impossible. It's just how much are you willing to sacrifice? Yeah. And when you can rationalize it that way versus I could never do it. Like, how much am I willing to sacrifice?
Yeah, right.
Do I need sleep? I could probably roll that back a few hours. I can maximize this over here.
What holds me back about homeschooling is the lack of social interaction. Because I was always a social butterfly in school. I had so many friends. Izzy's already like that. Logan is starting to be like that. He's got his friend Octavio that he's got to give a hug every day before he leaves.
I mean, like, you guys have also kind of brought him up that way. You guys have the game nights at the house. You guys have
not only that,
friends and everything, so they know it's like life is a lot better when you got your friends with you.
His first 6 months was in a hospital where 3-4 different doctors and nurses a day were coming into his room and, oh, hi, Logan. Oh,
I can't imagine.
He wouldn't remember any of it.
I was going to say, he can't remember any of that.
But it's still there, you know what I mean? Like, he was still getting random people interacting with him all day, all these new faces coming up in his face.
Think about, like, during Great Depression, like, that's when they had to intubate a bunch of babies. Polio was happening really bad back then. And you had nurses that their whole job was to go in and pick up babies because they needed the touch. And then there were some babies who had been close to the polio, and then they had to keep them separated from other babies, and those babies never got human, and they were dropping. They were dying left and right.
Just because no human contact at all.
Human contact. It is so critical. You'll have grown the most hardest of killers, and you lock them in a room, and you don't ever let them touch another human being, they'll go crazy. There's literally prisoners right now. They'll stick their damn fingers underneath the door, just hoping that somebody will go like this and touch them.
Yeah, damn.
Like, that is a scary place to be.
I'm getting there. I haven't been touched in a while.
And still probably not going to get touched for a while.
And with that comment, it's going to be another 2 years.
Does that work, I wonder?
No.
Can we please...
Honestly...
It works for pretty boys. When pretty boys are able to go... No, it's just they don't understand how tough it is for me. They would just understand. We understand.
I don't know. I don't think a girl would appreciate a guy who hasn't been in a relationship or hasn't had sexual intercourse. I've been 2 years celibate, basically, is what I've been telling people now. It's not by choice, but
but it is
a little bit. It is a little bit by choice because I haven't gone out and I haven't tried to.
There's always a bicycle out there you can hop on for a ride.
Or I could always go to the bar and try to hit on drunk girls. Or
I was gonna say, I mean, sometimes you don't even need to do that. Sometimes
it's just got to be at the right place at the right time.
Hey, you got a mouth, even then, I got a mouth. Let's use them. Actually,
the hilarious story about that. New Year's 20. This would have been 2022, so going into 23. I invited my ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend to come out drinking with me and Robbie, and it was because I didn't know she had that boyfriend when I invited her, but. Whatever, it's okay. It was like she's like, I gotta bring my man. I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. So into the night, I'm fucking
you should have
sitting
texted
there.
her back. Just don't come.
Yeah, I wanted to, but
I'm not coming in tonight. you should either.
It was one of those where I was like, okay, I can't be a dick and be like, well, now you got a boyfriend, you can't come. You know, so I let it happen. But end of the night, I'm walking, shit-faced drunk. There, it's them, the couple, me, and then we're going to meet up with Robbie. And I'm just like, it's New Year's and I didn't even get a kiss. All drunk, and this girl from the car goes, me neither. I'm like, let's fucking do it. I was just making out with her. I'm standing outside the car. She's in the car. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great. We both needed it at that moment, and we both got it.
And look how happy you are telling that story. Like you're talking about it fondly.
I was really drunk, so I don't remember, but I think she was pretty good looking.
Hey,
I'm going to tell myself that.
Hey, alcohol. Been turning 4 into 10s for hundreds of years.
And that's why I don't drink anymore.
It seems like there's a lot of other reasons nowadays to just give up the sauce.
Yeah, it's for me.
It seems like that's where it's headed. It seems like people are naturally going that direction right now. Either that or they're getting much better about like
hiding it.
Yeah, they're getting really good at hiding it. Seen like several guys last night when I was out delivering that they were some very well put together drunks.
I hate being hungover. I hate throwing up the next day, and it's just not worth it for me. It's a poison. It literally feels like a poison.
At the end of the day, it's really hard to say that it's not. I mean, if you drink rubbing alcohol.
Well, yeah, and alcohol can kill you if you drink too much of it. I have had alcohol poisoning, and I've probably been on the verge of fucking.
I know.
Right there, dude.
I think I know probably over a dozen people that have had their stomachs pumped. Nothing like that charcoal. Just get this out of you before you die, huh?
Me, I would basically pump my own stomach. If I started to feel like shit, I'd go throw up, make myself throw up, get rid of the alcohol.
I know several women who do the same exact thing.
It makes sense. Like
I know a lot of women who still do it. Like Ariana, I think she was telling me about how one of her college friends had helped her, like stuck her fingers down her throat and made her throw up.
Oh.
Which I'm like,
I couldn't have someone else do it for me.
Well, some people can't do it, and they need I don't know. Women have an incredible way of just being. When they're all drunk, the solidarity that comes from them. I'll hold this dumb bitch's hair.
Imagine this. You're at Daisy Duke's. You walk into the men's room and you see two guys just. What are you doing? You gonna go to the bathroom or are you gonna walk out?
Especially if I was drinking, I'm having an hour conversation in the bathroom now.
With those guys and be like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna say you guys are in the wrong, but fill me in. What's like, happening here?
I can't make myself throw up. And the other guy's like, well, I can't make myself throw up either, so we're just trying to make each other throw up.
And if they broke it down to me like that, I'd be like, well, carry on, gents.
Carry on. I'm going to use this stall, though, real quick.
I remember this. They had a bar over on Broadwater here in town. And I don't know why you would ever have a man's bathroom with just no door on a shitter.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
But then also, who has the audacity to go to a bar and is taking a shit with no door on it?
Yeah, I'd be holding that shit in. Can we bar hop to the next bar that has an actual stall? I
have been there several times, and when you're like, everybody's pissing, then you want to go take a run around the corner, and there's some dude who's just shit house taking a shit, and you're like, what? Come on now.
Eye contact.
I need a door.
Did you ever made eye contact?
The Legion was another weird one. They don't even have doors. They have curtains. You pull, and I don't know, when you're in that much of a defenseless position, I want something more than a curtain.
Yeah. I can't lock a curtain.
I didn't do anything. What am I supposed to do? Like these little short kicks to get you out of there? That's all I got.
I'll tell you, the best bathroom I've ever been in of a public place, fucking Buc-ee's, dude.
The grocery store?
The giant gas
yeah.
station? Yeah, dude. They have a attendant in there that's literally as soon as and your stall is a full door. Like a full commercial door. You go into this little, it's like a mini room, and then the second you're walking out, the attendant's in there. It was the cleanest bathroom I've ever been into, especially for a gas station. They have the guy just sitting in there like a fucking fancy ass restaurant, you know, handing out towels and fucking candies and shit. Like, this is badass.
What do you feel has gone right or wrong for that guy's situation where you're like, finally, I am the bathroom attendant?
It's probably one of those where if you want to work at Buc-ee's, you probably got to get your foot in the door somewhere and you start. It's like with every dealership job I ever worked at, I started off as a cashier.
But are Buc-ee's, I mean, that's like
dude,
up the chain?
When I went into Buc-ee's, they had more employees than my fucking local Walmart. It's nuts, bro. They got a fucking barbecue spot in the middle of it. Like a legit barbecue restaurant.
What is the idea behind it? They're trying to make it such a nice experience that you just always are coming back.
I think so, yeah.
That's behind it, because
it's a giant gas station. It has a barbecue place in the middle of it. They have the most options for foods and drinks.
Think about it, they probably have such an amount of money that you can spend on everything because it's gas money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that gets invested tenfold.
Same thing. Their profit margins on the fuel probably pays for the employees.
It's a love-hate relationship with Walmart. It's like, do you not want to have every last thing you can possibly want?
I go to Albertsons, but if I need anything household while I'm grocery shopping, you're going to Walmart.
That, and I mean, if you are, good for everybody who decides to buy local, but you have to almost have a second income to afford it.
Well, even, because Albertsons isn't local. Albertsons is a big chain. Walmart's a big chain.
I believe Albertsons is just our local over here, though.
No.
Yeah, it's not that big.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
so Albertsons is better, but still, it's still a corporation of some sort. The only grocery stores you're going to find that are like truly local are that Grocer Mart over where the old Hastings used to be on 17th and Grand, and then like where they're doing the big show this weekend. Those are like true die-hard local grocery stores. Albertsons got to be the whole West Coast, right? No, because it's Safeway.
Oh wait, no, they're actually everywhere. It's owned by Safeway. It's a subsidiary.
Is it?
There's actually way more than I ever thought.
Because there's a bunch of Safeways. Safeways go all the way up to Alaska.
There's 378 of them, and they're in 15 different states.
Okay, so they're pretty
so
big.
You got California, Texas, and Idaho.
Are there biggest ones? Washington,
Nevada,
Wyoming,
Montana, Arizona, Oregon, Louisiana, Washington, and Wyoming. But I mean, I am pretty spot on. It's all basically this side of the country.
Yeah.
It's Louisiana, who's the oddball out, but for the most part,
local within a hand throw of states or a rock stone of states away from us. So it's
Safeway, though, I didn't even think about that. Safeway is all over California.
Yeah, Alaska too. Safeway's what Alaska had.
Because that's the fascinating part about all these guys. You have General Mills. You have there's not ever really one top company. They're just one company that's a million other companies.
Just like the PepsiCo, who's got Doritos, Mountain Dew. It's Coca-Cola had millions of freaking subsidiaries.
Because this is the wildest one you look at. 6 companies that run the world. So you break it down in here, and then you can see all of their subsidiaries.
Coca-Cola, Nestle,
General Mills, Kellogg's, Mars.
And that's just the food industry.
Yeah. But then they own everything from that. Like Pepsi owns Tropicana. Nestle owns...
Come on, PepsiCo or Coca-Cola. We want that sponsorship.
Nestle owns Pizza Pockets?
Really?
Yeah. Or Coca-Cola. I mean, Pellegrino. That's their water. NOS energy drinks. Those are Coca-Cola.
All right,
Kellogg's.
Coca-Cola and Pepsi. We want you guys to be our sponsors because obviously you guys can afford to pay us.
And it's crazy that Coca-Cola, the same brand that started with actual liquid cocaine in it, has grown to the point where it's.
Do you know they didn't stop doing that? No, seriously, they still use the cocoa leaf for their flavoring. It's not, they don't actually put like cocaine in it, but they still use that same recipe. Not quite, but I'm pretty sure they use the cocoa leaves in their
it's cacao,
process.
Isn't
Cacao?
it? Isn't it a cacao leaf?
Maybe. But whatever it is, I heard Coca-Cola still uses it. It's just they're not putting in actual like processed cocaine. If they were ever doing that either. Because you got to go through a whole chemical process to turn it from a cocoa leaf into a usable, wonderful white powder. I'm just kidding. It's not wonderful. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah. Well,
Same thing, and I could be wrong.
Literally just fact blows that away because it says that they used it until 1903.
Okay. The
And
cocoa leaf.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I am. Maybe whatever video I was watching was pulling my chain. Which, like I said last time episode, I am so gullible with these things that if I read it on the internet, it must be true. Unless you might find something different.
The name of Coca-Cola is so familiar that according to Bart Elmore, the author of Citizen Code, it's the second most recognized word in the world.
Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola.
Second most recognized word in the world. What's the first?
That's a great question.
Dicks.
That really threw me off right there. I was like, I never would have ever thought.
I mean, dude, it's the logo, right? The
So cacao,
Cola.
that's the chocolate. No, like that's for making
cacao?
dark chocolate.
That's what I thought.
This is
Cocoa.
Coca.
The
leaf.
coca leaf.
Yeah.
In 1903, they stopped using the coca leaf, huh?
1903, it says.
Yeah, right.
When Coca-Cola's home city of Atlanta went dry in the 1880s, the red wine had to go. So Pemberton reformulated kept the Coca and Cola, but instead combined them with other flavors in a syrup that soda fountain could add to carbonated water. The first iteration of Coca-Cola was born.
So it came after being a red wine?
So let's
because they said
start from one of those drinks included Vin Mariana, a patent medicine made with red wine and cocaine that was a favorite of both Pope Leo XIII and President Ulysses S. Grant. It was this beverage that the Coca-Cola's founder, a morphine addicted, down on his luck Civil War veteran named John Pemberton, decided to copy, creating Pemberton's French wine Coca.
And I thought the Mountain Dew story was nuts, dude. Talk about these fucking guys. Holy
awesome.
shit.
This dude is a Civil War junkie.
And he's like, you know what would be nice? Taking that fucking elixir and turning it into a... I'm gonna make it.
He's
I'm
like,
gonna make a
tired
drink.
of people thinking that I'm an alcoholic. If I put it in a delicious syrup, everybody will drink it. Everybody will
that was a
understand what
mixture of
Coca-Cola
red
is.
wine and fucking something else. So that was like, could you imagine your doctor's like, yeah, we're gonna need to prescribe you red wine and some LSD. It's like, holy shit.
That'd be
a trip.
literally, that's a lot to... I mean, the red wine sounds kind of nice, though. No, it's not a little chaser. Keeps you kind of...
Red wine.
Will you be 40? Wow. That's still really insane, though, to...
Well, and I know Mountain Dew was made in the 40s to be a whiskey chaser, and then they realized that it was actually just good on its own. So they started cornering the market for like a soft drink.
Coca-Cola in the late 1800s, cocaine was used as a primary ingredient flavoring Coca-Cola. In the early 1900s, cocaine in its crude form was removed. Today, the extract of the coca leaves, a decocainized version, is manufactured in the United States and used in the flavoring for Coca-Cola.
I knew they were still using it. I knew it. It's not it's de-cocainized. What the hell does that mean? It's
Yeah,
like
at the end of the
me.
day. Well, because I know there's a process of making cocaine. You
Yeah.
gotta add a whole bunch
Like
of
they said, the
stuff to it.
crude. They said it was a crude version of it, so that was before it's refined.
And at the end of the day, I mean, you see the Peruvians and stuff with the coca leaves. I mean, those guys use it so they can work in crazy high elevations. 'Cause it thins their blood out, so they can actually work up there. And then, I mean, they get all energy rich too. So then they're working nonstop up there. But there's no. That's before.
Because didn't they
any
used to turn it into a
process.
tea? I thought they used to turn it into a tea. The coca
But,
leaf
yeah,
into a
coca
tea.
leaf.
Yeah.
Like, you can sit there and just chew on it.
Mm.
You see them.
And it
I've
does
watched
just as good.
documentaries.
Really?
No, I mean, it's like.
Obviously, it's not going to hit you like a whoa.
I'm sure it's like eating ginger or eating turmeric or eating, some of these raw things that are just incredibly, incredibly good for you. Like the coca leaf, I mean, in its purest form is
Probably not bad for you. Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a reason that it's all over Colombia. I mean, you can just.
It's the people who learned how to chemically process it into a high potent
But
powder.
obviously, if you think about it, if cocaine was so readily available even in the early 1900s, how long has cocaine been around as like just a regularly used thing? Like,
So
who
I
was the
bet you
first
Mayans,
person
dude. The fucking Mayans, dude. If Mayans were fucking around with ayahuasca, you bet your ass they were fucking around with some coca leaf. Same thing, probably just turning it into a tea, but the coca leaf. Coca. I do not like cocaine anymore.
Get this. The first description of the use of cocaine by humans can be found in the memoirs of the Florentine traveler Amerigo Vespucci. Remember Vespucci that they teach you?
Oh shit. He's all
For
jacked
the
up
next
on
300
cocaine.
years, mostly the advantages of cocaine use.
Cocaine.
It's just so funny. Like, that's where these guys were at. You
Hold
were
on.
so high on cocaine that you were just like, you know what? I can go across the ocean.
That was the first record of it. So when he got over here, they gave it to him. So these guys over here probably they've been doing it forever. That was the first record of it ever being put down in paperwork somewhere.
It's like,
That's nuts, dude. Like I said, the Mayans were probably doing this way back. How do you think the Mayans built their civilizations? Woo, we're gonna bring water from the Nile, bring it over here. It's gonna farm our crops, man.
let's see. The first experimental studies involving the application of cocaine to animals were performed by the Peruvian surgeon Moreno y Maiz in 1880.
Cocaine bear?
Von Onrep. So that's the other thing that I don't quite understand. Like, where do you have all these Von Burens and Vons that are in South America?
You don't know,
This is
dude?
pre-Nazi.
Would Vons have been Spaniards? Because the we never looked this up yesterday. Did the Spaniards settle Mexico or South America before we settled North America?
Yes.
They did. Okay.
Yeah, because that was like this
Yeah.
1600s.
Okay.
1500s.
So there you go. The Spaniards.
So obviously they were using it medicinally for anesthesia and stuff like that. And that shows it now, or almost 200 years ago they were doing it that way.
That reminds me.
How do you figure out that cocaine is even medicinal? Just because they're always sticking it up their nose, you know what I mean? Or are you just eating it?
Yeah,
and you're like, guys, my mouth numb.
I don't know what's going on. I can't feel my buzz.
I feel great.
And then someone's like, my foot hurts. Give me some of that. And rubs it on their foot. Like, I don't hurt no more.
Oh, man.
That's all it took.
I mean, talk about a hookup back then. Can you imagine if you are, what are they called? A nomad, and you're just traveling around, and they're like, man, it's going to take us forever. Let me get some of that cocaine. Now we're in North America. Just walking.
I saw Sacagawea. She said we can go this way, and we're gonna go up in the mountains, and we're gonna go around.
And that's if that's if you're like not just drinking yourself to death, because it's like
that was
everybody back then was drinking so much alcohol because the water sources were like
you couldn't trust
poisoned.
the water, so you had to drink fucking mead and all that
you're
shit.
just drunk, cocaine ridden,
Fermented.
eating some moldy bread, and now you're high on.
Oh my god! No wonder why the Salem witch trials happened.
That is a lot if you think about it, man.
Dude, so I know this is way off topic, but you kind of got me thinking about it. All the bottles of baby oil that they confiscated.
Did you hear? You sent me that.
The one that GSB or whatever.
Yeah.
The fact that it all could have been GSB, which is liquid ecstasy, and
that lady. I wish you would have sent me the video with a lady who was more like tolerable to listen to.
Oh,
she wasn't so annoying to listen to.
Yeah.
I've been all over it.
But yeah, apparently they think, because it makes sense. Why would the FBI confiscate 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
Well, then they're talking that it got all pulled off the shelf and everything. Like, the stuff's been discontinued now and all this other thing behind it. So it's like
GSB.
And this is just from my personal experiences, that there's a lot of people who still use baby oil, like strippers specifically who use a lot of baby oil.
But I'll tell you what, dude.
Still using baby oil. So
this is a big what if. But if you are P. Diddy and you're trying to get your parties to have some freak on, that would be the easiest way to do it. Hey, everybody, we're going to lube up and we're going to go slide down this slip and slide.
Well, last time I checked, what about the Jeffrey? That's the name of the drug in Get Him to the Greek.
And it was fucking everything mixed. And they called it the Jeffrey. That's almost as bad as calling the bad guy in Incredibles syndrome. They were telling us in plain sight, dude.
Or, I mean, you could literally be like Epstein. Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Epstein. That's why they named it that drug that. Because they were telling us that Epstein drugs people. Boom.
I mean,
drugs.
It just seems, I don't know. It just really seems like you could draw
a
conclusion.
Just
from
like
there.
the P. Diddy's house being right next to the fucking shipping container. There's no proof there, but your mind can draw a shitload of conclusions on what the fuck
100%.
was going on. It's so weird, dude. All of the videos of P. Diddy
before
did not age well.
So when because there's always the talk of shipping containers, always, you know what I mean, and human trafficking, but Russian women have been being brought in from shipping containers as mail order brides for I can't remember since when.
Is that how they get over here? Mail order brides?
Yes.
Really? Shipping containers?
Yes.
I figured if you ordered a bride, she'd show up on a plane.
No, I mean, there's a lot of times where they're not documented or anything. I guess you can't really have them come over on a visa. They're not working.
Marriage visa at that point.
If you're married beforehand,
I mean,
you gotta see the product before you buy it.
Damn, bro. Anybody ordered a mail order bride? Anyone got any advice for us? Because mine's on its way. Just kidding.
You might not want me to say that. I'll leave it out.
That's great.
If it was any other person, I would happily say it, but it's because of this specific person. I think I'll leave it out.
Yeah, hold up. Wait a minute. But it's about time anyways for the day.
Well, hold on. We can't get out of here yet.
We can't get out of here yet?
Because we lost a truly beloved person. We lost Maggie Smith from our Harry Potter. And you can't leave without,
without giving her homage.
100%. I mean, it's a sad one to go. She was in every single one. That's awesome. Yeah, she was incredible. And like I said, she was like a grandmother figure in that movie, and very, very beloved. Great actress even before she was ever in that. She's done a million movies. Maggie Smith, shout out Maggie Smith. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I was not a huge Harry Potter fan, so I wasn't like die hard, but
at the end of the day, I was like,
still good.
she is up there with like if we, who did, what is that movie? The Lions, Secondhand Lions. Is that what it's called?
I don't remember that movie. For me, he'd be up there with James Earl Jones and Simba, or she'd be up there with James Earl Jones and Simba.
Think of what his name. We count with 6s and 7s. From Austin Powers. That guy.
The guy who plays was it his dad who plays his dad?
Yeah, he plays his dad.
Yeah. Okay.
Is
What is his name?
Drawing a blank right now, but
Nigel something? No, I don't think that's right.
But him and like when we lose him, it's gonna be a really really sad day. I mean, it'll be like when we lose Anthony Hopkins,
Or if, like Adam Sandler. Hate to say that, I'm gonna knock on wood, but like way down the road when he gets old and goes, that's gonna be such a devastation.
A cut from Spanglish yesterday. You seen Spanglish? When's the last time you watched it? Go
Long
home
time
tonight
ago.
and seriously
Long
watch Spanglish. I bet I get tears out of you, and you won't even see it coming.
Dude.
Spanglish is a really. I forgot how good that movie is.
I tear up at a lot of movies now that I'm a dad. It's weird.
Real quick, what is the movie that really just drives you to tears, like kids movie?
God, I know there's one. Man, I can't answer that, but a lot of kids movies get me. I can't remember.
Good Dinosaur was the last one that it killed me in the theater when you're watching it with your son, and then all of a sudden you see the dad walking and the footsteps don't go into the ground. Yeah, I lost it.
Rugrats, when I was younger, made me cry so much.
You're talking about when they're out lost in the woods.
Yep, and the scene where they rip the blanket in half and his older brother kicks him out of the cave and he's laying there. That I was crying so much, and wanna know why? My brother would do that to me. That's gonna be me. And my brother's crying the same thing. He's like, I would do that to my brother. That would be me. That was the one that got me really good in theaters.
There we go, guys. Now that we've gotten you into a depressed state, you guys are thinking about happier times.
Now go back.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, share, hit that like button,
and then go back and watch our shorts because they are funny.
They're good stuff.
Yeah, they're not.
Sure
They're not
check
as
them out.
dark and twisted.
Sometimes every day is gonna be a new experience. So.
Absolutely. But thanks for being here, guys. We love you.
We're out for the weekend.
Yep.
We will be back next
with
week,
Monday with some big news, hopefully.
Big news.
Hopefully with some news.
Be sure to come back and check us out on Monday.